Baby Bards? I'm Ann Richmond, aka Hearthsinger, the head bard in charge round these here parts, and you've made it. You've made it here to Hearthsinger Games. Here on this channel, I make tabletop RPG-focused videos and product reviews. I give my tips for running and playing games like Dungeons & Dragons and Starfinder, and of course, I tell a few stories from my own adventures at the table. Like you've been crying a lot is definitely the look for Strahd. And if you stick around long enough, you might hear me burst into song. And don't you dare look away. 'Cause I need you to know I'm gonna go bag that arc fay. At last can rest his weary bones. Up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun, wandering free. Wish I could be part of that world. What would I give? Make that you will hear me burst into song. You might also recognize me from over on Twitch, where I embrace the spirit of adventure. Okay. You know who's not gonna go first? The wizard. Oh God! Terror. The little like thing sticking. Oh my God! There is this lucid right there. Oh God! Oh, where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go? Oh, God! This is fine. This is fine. This is fine.
And aren't you supposed to, like,
you know what?
And shit?
Okay, put your little mouth away. Put your little mouth away! Let the existential dread creep in. What can I say? I'm a girl who wants to decorate her fake world because she has nothing else to live for. Did I say that out loud?
Away we go.
And roll some dice in some tabletop RPG actual plays.
Do you want to be defined as just identifying things all the time?
No.
How's it feel? How's it feel?
Bad. You make me feel bad. I feel bad.
I also like stars.
Stars are
Me too, says Amaruk, and she comes over and like this big wolf just shrinks down into the little like hunchy thing, like how we used to talk to kids at Ren Fair when we get down with them. And he's like, me too, and it's just the biggest anime grin and sparkle eyes ever. What kind of stars do you like?
Spark twirls the ends of its whiskers.
Yeah.
All of them.
Me too. Oh my God. All in all, I spend my whole life trying to make a boatload of riveting content for you out there, the baby bards. So if any of that sounds up your alley, subscribe to my channel for weekly videos and new adventures beyond every horizon. Welcome to Hearthsinger Games, where I live my quest life. What's up, baby bards? Well, everyone. How are we today? How is everybody in chat? I cannot believe it, guys. We made it to 1,000 followers. I wasn't even paying attention. I've been off this week. And I decided to come and have a little hang with everybody. This is so fun. How's everybody doing? I'm Ann Richmond, aka Hearthsinger, the head bard in charge round these parts. And yeah, that's the happy haps. Let me turn down this audio output situation. But yeah, I thought I would just come and hang and just chatting and see. Ilaria, what's up? Welcome. How are you, my dear? Everyone will have to excuse me because I am, I won't say newly vaccinated, but I just had my second, oh, I guess it is newly vaccinated, I suppose. I just had my second vaccination yesterday. Alaya, thank you so much for that subscription. I super appreciate it. You'll notice that my typical Franz are not here because people were a little bit busy, and that's okay. These things happen. I wasn't sure I was going to stream today because I've been totally off this week. Not like because I felt off, but I took the week off because I start my new job on Monday. So yeah, Classified Styles, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Welcome everybody. Yeah, and leading up to this weekend, it's pretty nuts because I have a show tomorrow with my friends at Art of Adventure. And the way that works is that every month they do a different one-shot. And the people from the previous month's one-shot create miniatures and terrain and stuff for the next month. So if you want a preview of what that all looks like, I posted just a little taste on the Discord. So go check that out. It's well worth it. But yeah, I've been receiving so much mail in the last week or so, but most of that mail was in regards to the fact that I was going to be doing this show, and people were sending me monsters. Someone was in charge of doing all the monsters. Someone was in charge of doing terrain and interactable like objects, like treasure or barrels and things like that. And it all takes place on a pirate ship. So in the other room, there is a pirate ship, a 2-leveled pirate ship made out of foam that is the battle map for this thing. It's so crazy. I can't even tell you how cool it is. I'm very excited about it. So that will be over on the Art of the Dollar Store DMs channel tomorrow. They actually stream primarily on YouTube. So here is the link if you want to go ahead and give them a little subscribble. And there will definitely be a link going up in the Discord when we are live tomorrow. It's from 3 to 6 p.m. tomorrow. So yeah, so very, very excited about that. What's everybody's week been like? Classified, tell me more. What have you been up to? Same with you, Ilaria. Tell me everything. It's just us chickens here. Chris and Emily got a little bit hung up with some personal stuff, so they're not gonna be joining us today. We were going to do a flops versus favorites on cleric spells, but sadly, that is not happening tonight. But that is okay. You've been gardening. That's cool. What are you planting? I've been getting the house ready, not just to stream tomorrow, but there's just been a lot that I've needed to do in this house as far as just carving my way out of a deep depression. But also making my way. I don't mean to say that to make anybody depressed or anything. I'm just saying, sometimes you have to do a deep clean, get rid of a bunch of junk. And, I had been being sent all of this stuff for so long. And I was just like, I'm being buried. Like, I have all these boxes and I've opened some of them, but I also got all this furniture that I couldn't make without a power drill. And then it just built up and built up and built up. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm being buried in cardboard. I need to get rid of all these boxes. And I don't like to take them all downstairs all at once. And then there's also the fact that, like, I've developed mild agoraphobia during this pandemic, which I think a lot of people can relate to. So I keep being like, well, I don't want to cram everything downstairs because I live in an apartment, so I want to be respectful. So I'll take it by bit. But then that just becomes like, what if I just never took anything down and I just lived here on my couch forever and never moved, and I held my cat and we never left. So it's very different, very different. Ilaria says you got tested and half vaxxed, and then you're headed to visit your fam in Virginia. That's exciting. Ooh, Colonial Williamsburg. That sounds fun. Ooh, and Classified Styles is planting fruit trees and pulling weeds. Nice. Yeah, freshly clean place makes a world of difference. And it's just been like, my anxiety is like, I hope you guys are okay with me being this open about it. I guess it's my channel, so if you don't want to be this open about things, then you can go elsewhere. But it gets to the point sometimes where I can barely get myself up to, unless it's to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? And so, and I don't really know what that's about. Like, I need to work in therapy sessions to kind of combat that and figure out some tools to handle it. But one of the things that I'm doing, and Zap, how are you? I love you so much. Welcome to the Friday hangs. I'm not drinking. You can imagine that I'd be drinking, but I am instead hydrating because I got my second vaccine shot yesterday, which means that I'm fully vaxxed. And I am not feeling so great, so I feel like adding alcohol to that is not a good idea. So I'm mostly focused on hydrating. But yeah, so I think one of the things that I'm doing to combat that is I've been prescribed an emotional service animal, emotional support animal. Emotional support animals are not service animals, which is a very important distinction. Yeah, Alaria, that's it. Yeah, I'm paralyzed from productivity. If I can live with something, I just kind of live with it. And for me, like, I live by myself. I'm 35-year-old lady living by herself. And so if I don't do it, no one does it. And it's mostly okay. You know, the only thing that I really take care of is what my cat needs. And if I'm like, wow, my cat's life would be terrible if I didn't do this, then, like, it normally gets pushed on the back burner unless it's, like, a deliverable. Which is not right. You know, like, I'm not championing that. I'm just saying that it's a real thing people go through. So, you know, I'm not a lazy person is the thing. And this has always been, it's been something that I've worked with my entire life, I think, and only recently have really discovered its source is mental illness. Because I'm not an unproductive person. I make a lot of things. I can keep to an insane work schedule, like nobody's business. But if it's something that brings me anxiety, like working out, which makes me have to, like, confront things that I don't want to confront, or even just, like, the threat of me going out my door when I might run into somebody. And, like, I know that that's so stupid, right? There are people who go, I'm not going to say it's stupid, right? I'm not going to downplay my feelings. My feelings are valid, but, you know, you do have to think about the fact that there are people who go to work every day and who are essential workers and who are safe and who take all their precautions, and, you know, they take the subway. Like, I haven't taken the subway in over a year because I'm afraid to get on the subway. And then it became like, I'm afraid to walk around my block because people in my neighborhood aren't good about wearing masks. And then it became like, when we were a hot zone, I was like, if I go out, I'm going to get sick, and then I'm not going to have good insurance because I lost my job at the beginning of the year, and, like, all this stuff. And, you know, I have state insurance, but it's not great. It's not great. So yeah, so I don't know. These are things. An incredibly uplifting conversation, but hopefully it makes you feel less alone if you're experiencing some of this. I was doing a really good job last summer. Like, I made a video about going outside once a day to go get a cup of coffee. And that worked fine until the video was over, and then I sort of stopped doing it. And so, yeah. And doom scrolling. Yeah. Ilaria says, I have massively important project for work and people are relying on me for, like, big things, and I find it so overwhelming because I want to do a good job. I want to do a good job, and you wind up doom scrolling. Yeah, totally. Yeah. But that is one of the reasons I'm so excited to be getting a dog, guys. I'm getting a dog, and he's gonna be so cute, and I'm gonna squish him. And part of the, like, it's sad to say, but, like, part of the reason that I'm doing this huge clear out of the entire house is because I want to make a home that is worthy of this dog. And I need to start from square zero and make sure that it's a safe and happy place for the dog to be. And it's not that I think that it's, dangerous, but there are things like, you have to be so careful with a puppy. A puppy is gonna get into all sorts of trouble if you're not careful. So you got to go ahead and literally get down on the floor and think what do I have on low shelves that shouldn't be there, that the dog could get into. I have a bunch of miniatures on low shelves because my cat doesn't give a fuck, but a dog would be delicious, want to eat. So things like that. I'm switching around the way that I've stored board games and miniatures and collectibles. And then once I have all of that set in the living room, I'll post pictures on the Discord and on Twitter and stuff when all of this is done. But in the living room, I'm trying to set it up as the first place that the dog is generalized. So for anyone who hasn't ever had a dog before, or especially a puppy, you basically have to have them attached to you or crated or within a particular place for a pen, like Ilaria says in chat just now, for a little bit. And you got to get wee-wee pads, but I'm trying to avoid using wee-wee pads as much as possible. I want to make sure that my dog can go outside, which means at first, it's crazy to think about this, but when you have a puppy, you need to take your dog outside every time it gets up. It finished eating, go outside. It finished a nap, go outside. You're putting it into the crate, go outside before you put it in the crate. You're taking it out of the crate, go outside. It's insane. And the fact that I'm going to be doing this as a single person without a yard is going to be, it's a lot. But it's giving me, in a way, something to look forward to, because all of that is your chance to really bond and establish communication in the beginnings of training with your animal. And I really miss being the primary trainer of a dog, which I was growing up. I worked with the Canine Good Citizen program in Chicago to bring my dog Gandalf into hospitals and work with people who needed emotional support and therapy using the animals. So we had a great time doing that when I was in middle school, and I was in charge of getting my dog to the point that he could take the Canine Good Citizen test and pass and then go do that. What's up, Know-It-All? How are you? How's it going? We're talking about the puppy. So yeah, crate and pen, best friend, totally. And hopefully I will have it set up so that you guys will be able to see the puppy in an office pen on that side of the room when I'm in here streaming, and it'll be great. So yeah. Puppies, the greatest con men of them all. So yeah, I'm so excited and ecstatic about this dog. It's weirdly, getting a dog has shown me, or the drive to get a dog has shown me, that I really haven't had that much to look forward to personally in a really long time, which sounds mopey and sad, and I don't really mean it that way. I suppose what I'm trying to express is the fact that how to say this, a lot of what I do, oh, thank you for those lovies, Classified, I appreciate that. A lot of what I do is take joy in what I make. So I make videos, I stream, and I go and I go and I go and I take, outside contracts, and I never stop. Because I can be productive in that way. That's how I know how to find self-worth. But the problem is, looking for self-worth in your, in the eyes of an audience when you're just starting out is really scary and really hard, because you don't always get, what's the best way to say this? You don't always get what you're looking for, I suppose, in terms of validation. So you need to pick things that validate you, that genuinely bring you joy, and not just things that genuinely bring you joy, and not only things that you create and then you're looking for this external joy in. And so that's one of the reasons that I think getting a dog was suggested to me by my therapist, because she was like, you need something that isn't on your computer. You need something that's going to get you out every single day, and that you're going to be able to take joy in like a relationship. Because I don't have, for those folks who have developed like a strong, you know, war bond with anyone that they've been carrying out quarantine with, like, I haven't had that. And that's not to, you know, make you feel guilty about it, but I've been pretty much alone in my house with very few exceptions this entire time. And so having a, you know, a partner in crime who needs to leave a couple of times a day and who needs to step away from, like, who needs to just like chill and relax and play with a rope on the floor, or, you know, whatever it is, like to take joy in those small moments of existing, rather than, I'm getting a little emotional, rather than trying to avoid the feeling of being a person existing in space by filling that time with games or other things in your life, you know. So that's kind of where I am with it. That's why the dog is coming. That's why I'm so very excited. And tonight I get to officially confirm which dog it is, and I believe I know, but we'll have to see. There are some people that get to choose before me based on the waiting list, and so if they behave the way that the breeder thinks that they will, then I know which dog I'm getting, and then if they don't, I know the other dog that I'm getting, and I would be perfectly happy with either. But I do have like a slight edge on favoritism for one of them, so just hoping that it all works itself out. But yeah, so I guess I was hoping to do kind of like a just general chat and Q&A. If you guys have any questions about the game tomorrow for Art of Adventure and what we're going to be doing, I can tell you a little bit about that. If you have questions about Lost Mountain Saga, which is the podcast that I'm on, if you're not listening to it, oh my god, you should be. It is a good time. Lost Mountain Saga is a Nordic horror story from the turn of the century, played with the Vaesen RPG from Free League Publishing. I was like, come on, Anne, use your words. And it's been so good. We have Skid Marr from Glass Cannon on the latest episode as a guest, and he will be on the next couple of episodes as well, finishing out a particular storyline, and that is really cool. And we are getting ready to film with a new guest in the next, record rather, with a new guest on Lost Mountain Saga in the next couple of weeks. But I have been sworn to secrecy and cannot reveal the identity of such a creature. But I can say that it's going to be fun. And yeah, Skid is great, and he did a great job with his character. It's pretty funny. He reveals in Ellie kept it in, which I thought was funny. He did not actually create a character before he came to the table. Like, he created the character in his mind, but he never created stats for it. And so in the middle of the podcast, you hear Ellie go, well, let's roll a skill challenge. Do you know what your skill would be for this? Like, what the rating would be? And he goes, no. She goes, do you have any of your skills? And he goes, no. But there's no way that you can't say that he knows clearly who that character is in his mind. Like, the character was there. It was just really funny because he was like, I guess that's 9 dice for me. I'm going to roll 9. Like, and it was very funny. And it made me laugh that Ellie kept it in. Yeah. Pro firmly in quotation marks in the case of showing up to a game without a character sheet, but also like he, as an actor, absolutely. As an actor, he was super pro, but it was really funny because I was like, wait, you didn't make a character? Why didn't you? But also, he he uses he probably was thinking like we might make it, because I'm sure he thought about New Game Who Dis, where like the structure is you make the character and then you play, right? So I don't know if that's what he thought he was going to be doing, but it's what happened was great, and it all worked itself out. But it was very funny because I locked eyes with Ellie and then I looked away because I was like, I wouldn't know what to do if I were a DM and my player came in and was like, yeah, I didn't put anything on the page. I don't know how you feel about that. But it is a great episode and a great set of episodes, I think. It's certainly fun. And there's so much cool Astrid stuff coming that I cannot even tell you. Astrid Nieberg is one of my favorite characters that I've ever gotten to play. And listening back to the show has been really helpful to me as like a, you know, an exercise in like, well, here's what I did great. Here's what I didn't do good, you know? So that's been interesting. And obviously everyone on the internet is going to have their own set of feedback, what they like and what they don't too. And you take that with a grain of salt. But I've really been enjoying finding killing more gods seems like a pretty cool thing to do. As Astrid Classified points out. Yeah, she's gone from a quiet bookish librarian to like weirdly having something to offer as an occultist and as a person with a bow and arrow. She's definitely grown. I was like, how am I, from the first 3 episodes where she was so keyed into lore, but like did not have any kind of weapon except for a knife, which she could barely use. And so if they did get into a sticky situation, she was like, everybody else, the floor is yours. And now she's killing it. So it's a good time. Good time. And there are so many tiers inbound for her that you guys haven't experienced yet. So it'll be fun stuff. But yeah, Lost Mountain Saga, super fun. Ellie has done such a fantastic job editing it. Highly recommend, if you haven't checked it out, to go check it out. I also have an awesome one-shot plan, not just for tomorrow, but the day after, for my Patreon community. So everyone on my Patreon has been playing in a game that is like kind of an MMO style situation where everybody's playing as a part of the same plot, but it all happens in these one-shots where they can bring that character or not, but the stories kind of stand on their own. But they all feed into a greater core. So that's been really fun, and I love you, Emily. How are you? I'm so glad that your work emergency is over. We're just hanging. We're just chilling. Living it up. I love you. Yeah, I also got caught in something like almost right up until game time because I was supposed to I did a really cool interview with a, tabling Patreon for a second. I did a really cool interview with a company that is building a tool to assist with better moderating chat and comments on YouTube and Twitch and other video platforms to create safer spaces for people. And so I did like an interview with them about how I used moderation, what I felt like it lacked, and how a tool could be more thoughtful or bring a community together around creating safety and things like that. And so it was something that I had said I was going to do, but then in the fluster cluck, as they say, of trying to figure out whether or not we were going to do show tonight for Around the Hearth, I then also was like, oh shit, like I was supposed to do this, but now I'm late. And then, so then we had the conversation. It was great, and it's over. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool to get to be asked to do that. I also did another. There's a podcast called Why We Game, and I was asked to come and do an interview with them, and it was a really cool conversation, and it's really cool to get to be, asked to collaborate with other people along the way here. I think that it certainly feels nice to be asked. It's kind of like time is weird and running out because I've been working so hard for a year and trying to get a lot of these connections to happen, and then they start to happen right as I take a full-time job. So it's never perfect. I should say, though, speaking of cool shit that happened, or is about to happen, so on this channel, from May 8th to 10th, there is going to be a Pathfinder and Starfinder primarily set of fundraiser games for Jasper's Game Day. And Jasper's Game Day is a charity devoted to combating teen suicide and creating awareness for teen suicide and suicide in general, for sure. Winston, welcome. Thank you so much for that follow. Guys, we are at 1,004 followers. It happened. We broke 1,000. I don't know what to do. What should I do to celebrate having 1,000 followers? What should we do? We did it somehow. When I stopped thinking about it, it happened. I thought about it way too much for months. And then I went on break for a week and people were like, yeah, I'll follow this. Why not? I mean, isn't that typical? The old adage of like, when you stop trying, that's when things will happen for you. So, anyways, May 8th to 10th, there will be 4 games a day. I will be either playing in or running a game each day, but all of the games will have different guests. A table, an example of a table, is that I'm really excited about, and I want to die. We have some folks from Stargate and Star Trek / Rent coming to play a game on the channel on the first Saturday. We have Anthony Rapp, and who else is at this table? David Blue. Hold on, where? Hello? Scrolling up. There we go. David Blue is DMing, and then the players will be Anthony Rapp, Todd Stashwick, Christina Ochoa, and Critical Bard. They're all going to be playing on this channel to raise money for Jasper's Game Day, and in the next couple of weeks, we are going to be releasing sign-up sheets for people who want to pay into an auction to buy seats to play at those tables. So my table is going through a couple of changes, but I'll be the first game on Saturday, and then I'll be playing in some other games. I know I'm going to be playing with B. Dave Walters in one of the games, with our friend Justin from another Starfinder show. But it's all pretty much Starfinder and Pathfinder, and then there's going to be one D&D game, and that's the David Blue, Critical Bard, and Anthony Rapp game. So it's going to be awesome. We're going to raise tons of money for charity, and even if the auctions for seats at the tables are a little too rich for your blood, I totally get that. You can also just come and watch and donate what you can over the course of the weekend, because we'll have a Tiltify campaign running. So it's going to be great. I'm really, really excited about it. I'm going to be exhausted, and I will somehow have to figure out how to take a dog outside during all of that. Winston, how are you? Welcome to the Baby Bards, by the way. What's your, how'd you find us today? Did you find us for some just chatting chill vibes? Some just chatting chill vibes are totally welcome. Is anybody playing D&D this weekend? Tell me more. I'm going to be running a game on Patreon, and they are being sent to Candle Keep, shockingly. They have found so the way that this works, right? I was telling you about how it's kind of like an MMO thing where all the different games are played with all the players who are members of this huge adventuring company, and we can pull from different groups of people to go out on these different adventures that get assigned by the NPC who runs the Sunlit Seekers, which is the name of the campaign. And so she'll be taking a bunch of people out, or she'll be sending a bunch of people out to Candle Keep to get some answers about the original order, which they're trying to reestablish, and what may have happened to them. And so I'm very excited about that. So I'm probably going to weave in some Candlekeep mysteries, which I'm super excited to do, because I have access to them through Roll20. And that's a pretty cool thing. So yeah, so I'm probably gonna weave in one or two of those adventures over the next couple of months, because I think Candlekeep is a great place to send people to, you know, find what you're looking for, but then add that lore to your overall adventure. And I have an idea of where I'm going with things, but I'm definitely letting this picture paint itself as well in a lot of ways, just to pull down the curtain. Mostly because I want to keep it open to everyone's participation and the ability to make it special for people as we go. Yeah. Who all has gotten their shots? F in the chat if you've gotten your shots, or one of them. I know Ilaria has. I've gotten both of mine. Classified, have you gotten your Vax shots yet? And Emily, I feel like, I don't know if you're still here, but I feel like you haven't. I feel like you would have told me. You would have told me! Oh boy. One thing that I've been super into is watching dog training videos, because I'm trying to remember like what order to teach things in and how to, I guess, like how dogs process information, if that makes sense. Because I remember a lot of bonus, like I don't know, I remember a lot of like beginner stuff. But not like the proper order to teach it, or when to bring in the verbal command versus just luring with the treat and stuff like that. So it's been really good to watch that. I've gotten really into watching Zach. God, what's his name? Kitty, come here. Oh no, oh no, no, no. Look at this baby. Oh, she hates it. Hates it. You're fine. She's not fine. She hated it and she left. It's okay. My forcible show cat participated in the show today. Yeah, I've definitely been planning what to do with her as this dog situation comes into play, because that's definitely going to be a challenge, only because she's lived alone all of her life, but this dog is being socialized with other animals and lives at a farm, and so at least for him, a cat will not be a new concept to grasp. So we're 50% of the way there, but yeah, it's gonna be a little bit as I spend time in different rooms. And the other thing that has been really helpful to think about with dogs is the fact that when you're home all the time, it's great for the dog, but it's more likely that they're going to get separation anxiety, because they'll never know a world where you're not just like always there. So it's important to bring into your training, like leaving them in their crate to like go to the bathroom. Every time you go to the bathroom, don't like let them come with you. Don't let them, you know, be wherever you are, and build in time where, like, if you're on a conference call, as much as you might want to have them in here with you, like, go put them in the crate, things like that. So yeah. Stabby Tabby, how are you? Thank you for that subscription. Stabby, we did it. We passed 1,000 followers. It happened. How it happened, I don't know, but we did it. I wasn't even paying attention and it happened. The last time I looked, we were just going back and forth between 996 and 997. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah. I think, you know, my cat has been alone a lot from time to time. She doesn't super get anxious when I'm gone. She is so chill about most things, except being held or loved in any way. I think she is going to let this... My guess is that she is going to let this dog know very quickly that he is not to be a part of her life. And then he will likely remember that encounter, as I have. And as that is my thought. But what they say to do is to feed them in separate rooms and keep them in separate rooms for like the first week and gradually move their food dishes closer to a particular door. Now the problem is I kind of feed my cat and then she is a self-regulating cat and I don't have to like feed her at particular times. So I'm not sure if I should change that for this or whether that's too much change for her. I don't know. Let me know what you think in chat. Am I gonna do dog vlogs? I don't know. I've been thinking about making a TikTok for my dog. I love dog TikTok. I've fallen in love with many a creature on those TikToks, but I think there might be like some dog-centric videos. Yeah, but did you, Zap says that's how I handled introducing my dog to cats, but did you feed your cats at a particular time, or do they just kind of self-regulate? Because I normally just like put a bunch of food in a bowl and then when it's gone, I refill it. That's kind of how our lives have been. And puppies need to eat 4 times a day, 3 or 4 times a day. So now I'm super nervous because I've been watching, I've run out of dog training videos to watch. By the way, if you're curious about some great dog training videos, even if you don't have a dog, God, what's his name? Zach George, I think. It's like the Zach George dog training revolution or something. Yeah, this is it. Here, let me throw it in chat. You should... Oh, give my kitty treats at those times to get her by the door. That makes sense, yeah. I've definitely been leaving out her favorite blankets so that they can get heavily scented, so that I can leave that out where the dog is by the dog's crate. Yeah. This is my roommate's cat, and they got fed at a very specific time, so it was easier, yeah. Yeah, I'm just curious whether if I started feeding her at particular times, that would be too much of a change for her. She's going to have, like, my entire bedroom, which is fairly large. Like, I don't think she's going to be upset being in there. Oh, they insist on feeding times? Well, see, I've known people, Emily Floyd, who are prisoners to their cats and their feeding times. And, I didn't want that life, but now I'm choosing that life because I'll be prisoner to my dog and their feeding times. But I also plan on... I feel like I'm like a new mom who's like, well, actually, I won't be breastfeeding. Like... So take everything I say with a grain of salt, guys, because... These are my plans. They don't have to be yours, and I'm totally open to suggestions, but ultimately I'll make the best choice. I feed my cat raw food, so they are fed twice a day. Yeah. Well, I've been thinking about, especially while he's a puppy. I have to talk to the breeder tonight, actually, I think. While he's a puppy, I want to make sure that he has access to, like, human-grade food, and there's some really good delivery services that... create like basically wet food for dogs that is like not processed. It's very expensive, but anything for my son. Oh man. But yeah, so what I do raw, there's like this raw food that I saw on this Instagram channel that I've been researching a little bit with my dad, which, by the way, put a pin in that because we'll come back to my dad and this dog in a second. As a pet food nerd. Well, Stabby actually worked at a pet store. She told me this a couple nights ago. And for a while you said you worked there. And I mean, obviously it's been a while since you did, but yeah. I found a dog groomer in my neighborhood with good reviews today. Yeah. Didn't sell pets, just food. So I'm gonna try and do that because I'll have the money to be able to do it. I finally got paid by my previous contract, which is great because I was owed about roughly $30,000. And now it's paid, so I can buy things like dogs and pet food for the dogs. Good times. But it's nice to have that taken care of for sure. 3 years, I was the manager. I learned a lot about fancy pet food and how cheap pet food is really bad for your pets because of all the fillers, yeah. And I think what I want to do is change... Maybe what I should do is figure out what I should be feeding my cat and start that change now over the next 2 weeks so that change has been made by the time the dog gets here, and then she'd be on a feeding schedule. What do we think of that? Does anybody have any ideas about that? She's also not a young lady anymore. She's like 7 years old, so. Look at us. Brainstorming ideas, coming up with cool shit. What a time to be alive. But yeah, Zach George has a couple of different series on dog training. Did I actually post that in chat? I feel like I did. Yeah, I did. So he's a pretty famous YouTube dog trainer, and he's done a couple of different series. One of them is called The Dog Training Experience, which is basically follows the first year of him and his dog Inertia's life together, and it's so arrestingly cute. I can't handle it, but it's also really, really helpful because they go through Inertia's particular issues. They talk about, redirecting when puppies get, like, you see every stage of the dog, because people are often like, when you get your new puppy, here's the first 24-hour survival guide. Like, it's really cool to see a dog develop over time. And today I watched a video of his that was like an honest look at where we are now. That's like a year. It was published earlier this year in like January, I think. And seeing like how far that dog has come from a puppy to now with consistency, because that's so key. Like, a lot of people teach their dogs sit and stay and down, and they kind of stop at that because those are the basics, and I totally get that. I'm definitely interested with this dog in going a little bit further with that, just because training is something, it's not that I think everybody needs to do it, it's just something that I genuinely enjoy and miss from my relationship, especially with my first dog. My second two dogs growing up, I didn't have really the ability to create that relationship over time because I wasn't living there the entire time. And Gandalf only died the last 4 years of his life I wasn't there, but everything else before that I was. Wow, I get really emotional about dogs that are dead. My God. I loved Gandalf a lot. He was a great boy. But I'm really excited for this new dog because, I mean, for a lot of reasons, but one is to like build that bond back and, teach tricks and teach, especially living in a city, like you have to be a lot more in control in some ways because you're going to be in close quarters with other dogs and other people and kids, and like you got to tell them to leave it if there's something on the street you don't want them to eat, and like all these things that are very, very important to learn. But I've really loved watching Zach George because he has his series with Inertia, and then he took on 3 weeks of initial training with a puppy named Kona, who is just so adorable and floppy and so cute that I want to die. And I watched all of those videos as well because it was really cool to see, another dog, a different breed, right? I think Kona's like a water dog, maybe. I don't know. Maybe no, maybe he's a golden doodle. I don't know, or she's a golden doodle. But it was cool to see two different dogs' journeys, and his current series is with a rescue German Shepherd that grew up on the streets of New Orleans, and now Zach is trying to train it so that it can be adopted more easily in a foster program that the dog is in. So that is crazy because all of his other dogs have been like small when he started working with them, and so this is definitely a dog that's more of a challenge. It's a more adolescent or older, like almost adult dog. Is 75 pounds of dog and not a teeny tiny little puppy, and it's a German Shepherd, so super athletic, super strong. And so in any case, if you're someone who enjoys animal behavior, I found that dog TikTok and dog YouTube is a really fun place to be, just because watching people learn to like communicate with dogs is a pretty entertaining experience. So I'm hoping that I can do that. That's kind of why I want to do a TikTok, or at least capture the first year of this dog's life somehow. I know I'm going to be doing like a thing where I take a picture of the dog every single day for his first year, or like maybe a little bit of video. So we'll see. But yeah. I just got like a bunch of text messages. Who are these from? Okay, let's talk about my dad and how weird he is. So my dad has loved all of the dogs that we had as a family for a really long time. Obviously, because dogs are the best. My mom has loved all of our dogs as well. But in the last years of... we'll get back to that because I can answer this question. My dog is going to be named Samwise. That is, I had to already register his name for ESA purposes, emotional support animal purposes. You have to have the dog's name. So I knew that the dog was going to be male. And so I had to go ahead and name him. Normally, I wouldn't do that until I had the dog, but because of dealing with landlord issues and wanting to make sure that I had all my paperwork in order before the dog comes into the apartment and all that stuff, I had to do it beforehand. But yeah, I've had dogs. All of my dogs except Calliope were named after characters in Lord of the Rings. So I've had Gandalf, Calliope, Pippin, and now Samwise. So I think it's gonna be great. He's so cute. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Okay, so my dad is obsessed with this idea. He, ever since we lost Pippin, has just been like, can we please get a dog? We have to get a dog. And my mom, very understandably, because I definitely don't want to villainize her in this particular instance, like, the last year of Pippin's life, my dad got super sick and lost, lost the ability to use his arms. And at the same time, my dog's health was really declining. And so my mom went from having, a husband who took care of a lot of the like housework, and she did a lot of the like financial chores and things like that, to having to take care of my dad and this dog who was slowly like losing the ability to use its back legs and was pooping everywhere because it couldn't like get outside, and like, all those things that can happen at the end of a dog's life. And of course, it's very sad. And Pippin was a very good boy, and it was not his fault, but he was an old boy, and he was ready to go by the time we had to put him down, which is always a really difficult decision to have to make, but his quality of life wasn't there. And so my mom, trying to be a caretaker for a 75-pound rough coat collie and a more than 75-pound rough coat dad, who needed help with all of his physical therapy and getting in and out of the car. And like, yeah, it's really, really rough. And so when they and they're in their late 70s. Like they're about to be 80 within the next couple of years. I don't want to blow up their age spot. I don't think they would care that much, but you know, my mom kind of pointed out after Pippin died, and my dad has always been like the primary dog caretaker, and loved going out with the dogs and singing to the dogs and talking to the dogs on walks and things like that. My mom was like, we can't get another collie. Like, what if we both go downhill and we have this dog we can't take care of? Like, I cannot have a dog that I have to give up because I'm incapable of taking care of it myself. Like, that is not a level of emotional heartbreak I'm willing to put myself through. So we cannot get another dog, which was arrestingly difficult for my dad. So enter me going through this process of getting this dog. And at first we're discussing breeds and do I rescue or do I go to a breeder? Like, what do I do? And for me, the best process was to go through a breeder because I really wanted a purebred collie, and I wanted to make sure that a lot of the health concerns that you can see with collies when when they come through a puppy mill or you don't know where they came from, can be avoided when you use a breeder, which is not to say that one is better than the other. It's just the right solution for me was not to rescue. And also going through my apartment, it is a dog friendly building, but with the pandemic, they have kind of stopped doing approvals. And so it's been a little bit of an argument about the dog, but it's an emotional service animal. So the dog is allowed to be here as long as it's an emotional service animal. So now that the dog is registered and I'm a registered handler and all of that stuff, it's fine. But I had to kind of like come to a decision on the fact that in New York City, a lot of times rescues will require if you don't own the home, they will require your building manager to approve the adoption. So I didn't want to be in a situation where even though they had to approve it, they didn't approve it, and then somebody else would get the dog and I would just be caught up in paperwork for the entire time. I was like, this is about my health as well. I need a dog who's going to be able to serve those needs. And when you go through a breeder, they don't require your building management company to like be a part of that process. So, and anyways, those are a lot of the reasons I decided to go with a breeder, and to make sure that the dog's health was as healthy as it could be, so that I could focus on not taking care of all of their immediate concerns, but instead go right into all the things that, you know, my therapist wants me to be able to contend with, and as far as what I need from an emotional support animal. I go through all these, you know, questions about breeds and whatnot. I go through, oh, by the way, speaking of reputable breeders, Stabby, I've been using a site called Good Dog to source breeders. And they have informations on all the breeders, and then you interview them and they interview you. And I've had breeders sit with me and go through Punnett squares, like those things that you did in school, just say like, the mom is a carrier for this, the dad is a carrier for this, it's likely the pups will be not carrier, you know, like they'll go through everything and talk about like what's likely, what's certain. If these dogs breed, like if these are the parents, like the pups will likely have these colorations. So my dog is going to be a tricolor collie. I know that much. And I mean, he's already born, right? So he is a tricolor collie, and he was born to a blue merle and a blue merle mother and a tricolor father. All my other collies have been sable in coloring, but these ones are not. And the parents like are beautiful dogs, and that's like, people joke about the like, oh, I don't need like a pedigree pooch, like, oh, it's just for show. It's actually not just for show. And again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't rescue dogs from a shelter, but when you don't know a dog's history, it means that you're less prepared. In some ways, you're taking on the risk of being less prepared to be able to anticipate what issues may arise for them. And so being able to go through a breeder and know, you know, what's not on the table for them, so I can focus on, you know, other things that are on the table for these dogs, I think is great. So So yeah, and you can ask them like, how often do you breed your female dogs? Like, because you want to make sure it's not too often. They're not being worn out by the process, things like that. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. This was all about my dad, and then I got lost in the sauce. I'm sorry. So back to my mom and my dad. I've been, of course, talking to my dad about this, and both my parents were like, of course you want a collie. We've always had collies. My mom grew up with collies. Hey, thank you so much, Tasty Peanut. I appreciate that. And a sub from Little Bitty Monster. What's up? Hello, friend. I appreciate that. Welcome. We're just having little casual Friday chats here. We're talking about puppers. So my dad, super excited about the concept of a dog after being told by my mom, that it would be weird if it was his mom because she's hundo p dead. Being told by my mother that under no uncertain terms are they to get another dog. And then I start deciding to get a dog. My dad gets all amped up. He is talking about it. He wants to go out there and interview the dogs. Oh, you can't drive there. Maybe I'll drive all the way from Chicago to New York City, and then we'll drive to Pennsylvania and we'll get the puppies. Or maybe if you go through an Indiana breeder, I'll get the puppy and drive the puppy to you. Like, it's out of control. And he's trying to be helpful, and it makes sense. But as my mom kind of pointed out, that it's really important that I do this, that I take ownership of this, and that it is my whole thing. And it's also about, like, I didn't want to fly out to Indiana and get a dog from that breeder when I know that there are really good, reputable breeders within 3 hours of my house, right? And so overall, my mom finally messages me and she's like, Anne, I have to ask you a favor. You need to stop riling your dad up about all this dog stuff because he wants a dog now. Like, he wants a dog. We just got over this kind of difficulty between us trying to decide if we could oh shit, the hype train is a-coming. Just one more sub. We're gonna have a hype train situation, it looks like. But yeah, it's very funny because my mom's like, we just got over this. Like, your dad cannot be wanting a dog. I don't want to be the bad guy anymore. Like, please stop hyping up. Like, he can be excited, send him pictures and stuff like that, but like, stop involving him so readily in everything because he won't shut up about it. And I was like, Mom, don't overreact. Like, let him be excited about something. Like, you're overreacting. And then I looked at my phone and I had a text message from my dad asking when exactly my dog was born so that he could look up a complete zodiac sign, like, report on the dog. And I was like, no. I mean, maybe he's a little excited. And then my dad was like, by the way, I also found this collie hoodie. It's just like a big collie face on a hoodie. And he's like, do you need it? It comes in like medium, large, extra large, like double X. Like, what do you need? And I was like, all right, okay, you're right. And then this morning so every day this week, I have received a message from my dad that is a rewrite of West Side Story or another musical about dogs. I'll treat you to some of them. This one is from this one is not from West Side Story. This is from Les Mis. One day less, another day before the collie comes, another day before the beat of drums welcomes him to city life. Each baby tooth a razor knife. That's one of them. There's also another from West Side Doggy, as he calls it. Wait, what is this one? He'll put his nose... Okay, I don't... Oh, 3 weeks, 3 weeks. He's coming in 3 weeks. He'll put his pointy nose in my face. I was like, is it tonight? Okay, there's a dog like that. Wants one thing only. to be with you and not be lonely. And then the one I got this morning is, I feel jolly, oh so jolly, 'cause a collie is coming my way. 'Tis no folly, he will come and chase my blues away. La 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 la. He'll be furry, oh so furry, but don't worry, a groomer lives near. Samwise, hurry, I can't wait for you to join me here. La 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 la. They're all amazing. So this is where we are with dad levels of excitement. I'm excited for my dad because they're going to be coming out in June. So by then, Samwise will be fairly trained and ready to, participate in society. But yeah, it's it's kind of nuts. It is kind of nuts. I will tell him, little bitty. Guys, it's 7. We did it. We did an hour-long hang. I am feeling a little bit weird and woozy because of my shot from yesterday, so I'm going to take off. But I love you all. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out on this wonderful, fabulous Friday night. Please make sure, if you're not on the Discord, join the Discord. Come hang out with the baby bards there. And check out my YouTube, because I put out weekly YouTube videos. I was off this week. This is like the only stream or anything I did this week because I was in full-on prep mode because I needed a way to not have an excuse to do things. And yeah. So definitely come join us there and look for new videos every week on the YouTube about tabletop RPGs. And if you're interested in supporting or joining into that world-spanning MMO style D&D game, then come on down, join the Patreon. It'll be super chill, super fun. All right, guys, I love you so much. Get out there and live your quest life. Dogs, they're coming.